Shadowverse World Beyond Set 2 Infinity Evolved is out, and word on the street is Midrange Sword might just be the best deck. There's already tier lists in Japan rating it as the best, and it's being able to kind of adapt to the ever-changing meta every single day, such as of course Aggro Abyss going up and down in the rankings, and of course Earthright also popping up out of nowhere and being really good as well. So today we're going to introduce Midrange Sword and what made it so good from the new cards this set. Getting into it, this is the list that I've been running around with myself. Of course, this is I think the fourth video on Sword that I'm featuring on this channel, and as you might be able to tell, it is one of my favorite classes. Sword got a lot of new cards this set, and they're all very good, but of course the main one is of course Gildaria, Anathema of Peace. So Sword got its own Anathema, and she's absolutely beautiful. 6 cost 4/4 that most importantly has the main body effect and the evolve effect. So whenever another follower enters the field, you will deal 1 damage to all enemy followers. So it's AoE 1 damage to everything every single time. And when you evolve her, she will summon 2 copies of Steelclad Knight, which is a 2/2 token, and give it Rush. So that means that just by evolving this, you're doing 2 damage to everything on your opponent's board. This takes out Intimidates, Ambushes, everything like that. And you're also putting down 2 bodies on the board that can attack the turn they're played. And of course, this also has the Fanfare, which is Rally, which is the reintroduction of an old keyword from base Shadowverse that basically says, if you've played 20 followers this game, then this Fanfare will activate to super evolve automatically without using a super evolve point. This is really important because Sword basically now is unbeatable in stamina matches. So if the game goes long, you will achieve this Rally 20, and if you have any Gildarias left in your deck and you draw into them, you'll be able to super evolve when your opponent has already exhausted their evolution points. So this one card is really strong. It's good on turn 6 just because it can do a board clear without necessarily like sacrificing, advantage. And it's also really good in the late game because of that automatic super evolve too. So this is definitely the best card of the entire set for Sword in my opinion, but I think a pretty close second, or maybe not that close, but in my opinion, especially going second, a very good contender is Prim, Princess's Picnic. This is a 2 cost 1/1 with Ambush, but on Fanfare, it gives you Nonya Silent Maid to your hand. Nonya is a 2 cost 2/2 with Ward, but when you play her, if Prim is on the field, she gets +1/+1 and Bane. What's really good about this, she also has a super evolve effect that buffs everything by +1/+1, like a kind of Zirconia, but you don't want to use the super evolve on this because you'd rather be using it on things like Amelia or of course, Albert. But what's really good about Prim is specifically going first turn 4 and going second turn 3. So optimally in Sword, on your going second turn 4, you want to do Zirconia to evolve, buff your board, and trade, right? With Prim, you can get an extra play point on your 3 play points to play this and the Nonya, and this will present a 1/1 in Ambush and the Nonya, which is a 3/3 with Bane. This means that the opponent on their turn 4 is gonna sacrifice whatever they have on the board, or they could normally attack with, into the Bane. What's even better is that going first on turn 4, if you do that combo of just playing the 2/2s together, then you will be able to have a Bane follower against your opponent's first evolution turn. And that means that, for example, like in the mirror match, they evolve a Zirconia. If they want to trade, the Zirconia will die to the Bane. And the same applies to things like Alouettes from Portal as well. So I think this makes it really strong, specifically on that one turn, but it's also pretty good later down the line too, because of course, Prim can function together with Gildaria on like 10 play points to give you 2 more followers to summon as well. The other card that works with Prim is Rosé, Princess Knight. She's a 3 cost 3/2 with Rush and Follower Strike, which means that when she attacks a follower, if the opposing follower is damaged, she destroys it, which means that she herself doesn't do the combat, so she doesn't get destroyed in battle herself. If you play her on 5 play points, however, she will draw a Soarcraft follower that costs 2 or less and set its cost to 0 for the rest of the game, which means that, for example, if you pick up something like the Prim, this will become 0 cost. Luminous Lance Trooper can become 0 cost. The Ignominious Samurai can also become 0 cost. And I think, of course, it's only limited to Swordcraft followers. So this will not pick up your Fildau, but we still, of course, play it because it's good to take out things when you're going second. So this can be a pretty good tool. I don't feel the need to play 3, just because sometimes it's a little bit hard to use, especially for the destruction effect. This works really well together with Gildaria, of course, just because, you can deal damage with Gildaria after summoning her, and then she can trade it to something and destroy it, which is very strong. But the other 2 new cards, one of which is Sword, one of which is neutral, that I think are also quite good is first Urius, Live in Authority. This card I think had the biggest up and down evaluation of all the cards in this set. If initially everyone was like, oh, this seems kind of bad, but then now it's like, ooh, this is really good, especially if Sword's going to be popular. It's really good in the mirror. So if you see a lot of Sword, I would even play 2 copies. So he's an 8 cost 5/7 that on Fanfare gives your opponent 2 copies of Knight. So this is the 1/1 token, right? So you might be thinking, why would I want to give my opponent followers? They can attack with them, right? Well, he says that whenever, every single time an enemy follower enters the field, which includes these 2 Knights, you give them the effect that they cannot attack anything, followers or leaders, until the end of your opponent's turn. So they're stuck on the field there, so they're clogging the board. And every time your opponent puts any follower in their field, including these Knights, you deal 1 damage to the enemy leader and you heal 1 to yours. So this means that you immediately like drain 2 just from playing this, but this also checks puppets, because if they don't have any like pinpoint destruction, such as the Sylvia, then they're going to basically not be able to attack with anything, because he will stun everything and also just heal back to yourself. And this is also just really good in like the mirror match. It's good in anything that doesn't have pinpoint destruction. So of course, not so good in the rune matchup. So if rune becomes more popular, then Urius might be coming out. But as long as like Sword and like Abyss, as well as like Portal is popular, I would say that Urius is a really good card, and you can definitely win games through this guy as well. The other card I'm playing as a one of is the Odin Twilit Fate. 7 cost 4/2 with, of course, Storm, one of the best keywords in all of Shadowverse. And on Fanfare, he chooses any enemy card on the field and banishes it. So this can get rid of your opponent's wards, can get rid of your opponent's amulets, basically anything. Really good way to just finish the game, especially if your opponent is kind of banking on you not having a way to board clear. I think this card is also, I've seen some lists that even run like 3 and just take out things like Geno, but I feel like this list in particular is one that's kind of built to be able to last the long game and be able to constantly like drag out the game to the point that your opponent's out of resources and can use that to come back. So overall, I think it's a pretty like easy to use list. And of course, as usual, before we go into any games, I will give you guys the QR code. So if you want to scan this and get this deck list into your own possession, I highly recommend it. The new legendaries are great. And of course, we still use the old crew, such as Olivia, Amelia, and Albert, together with a lot of the new cards. Before we get into the games, of course, if you enjoy these kind of videos, I will be posting a lot more of the decks from the set as well. So make sure you subscribe if you want to see more of this kind of content. And specialty for this video is that actually I have not done my weekend lobby tournament yet. So we're actually going to be playing with some stakes on the line as we play this mid-range sword deck. All right, weekend lobby tournament. Let's get into it and see. It's going to be exciting to just see the new format. Now it's 8 players instead of 16, but unfortunately the rewards have also been lowered, which is the part that I'm a little sad about, but let's see how we do. All right, we're playing against Pinkabore in our first round. Let's take a look at what they're bringing to the table here in this first matchup. I'm excited, of course, you know, being able to ooh, against Portal. All right, let's see what kind of Portal it is. If it's puppets, I'm pretty happy, honestly, because I feel like it's quite favored into that matchup. Artifact hasn't really changed of the fact that it's quite difficult still to play into, but at least now we have more ways to answer boards. We're going first as well, which is also quite good, purely because of the fact that we can kind of play on tempo. And as I said before, we have the really good turn 4 tool now with Prim. Rose could also be kind of okay to keep just answer early boards. I don't think we need the second Prim. We kind of want to find things that can connect into later turns. The problem is that I don't want to play Prim on turn 2. So in this case, we could also like keep Prim like this, do turn 2, turn 3, and then turn 4 is also kind of an idea. So we can try keeping double Prim and see where that takes us. And we have pretty good... Okay, we can also just keep the Prim for later and do Luminous Lance Trooper on this turn. Or we can do Luminous Lance Trooper on turn 3, but that doesn't sound as good. I feel like going a little bit wide here and like seeing if they can't take it out might be a little bit more pressure. But then the problem is that then we play the Prim and then we don't have time to play the Nonya later. So it might even be better, since we drew the second Zirconia here, to keep this for turn 6. So I think here we'll play the first Prim, and then she'll just sit in the shadows with a little ambush here. And then we can play the Nonya next turn. Okay, we're seeing the Puppeteer, but this could still be either one of the two decks. But this is good because this 3/3 stat line will force him to commit the Puppet, which means they cannot preserve those either. Here for this turn, I think it's okay to swing with this Prim. Of course, having bodies to buff is really, really good. But this also means that, ooh, okay, they might be swinging from above now into the, are they going to trade this? No, they're going to trade the puppet. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. So this way we're slowing down their push a little bit and forcing them to like commit a lot of their puppets. So here we're going to just do the Prim play again. And this way we can keep the Luminous Lance Trooper for later. I quite like this play, honestly, myself. Just because, like, I mean, this 3/3 Bane is just so good. Like, it makes it so difficult for them to commit things on this first Evo turn. So let's see what they do. And regardless, we do have a really good Zirconia turn here. Build out just to, wow, evolve and destroy. Just to get the 4 face damage in. Okay. I mean, they're going quite wide with a lot of their 2-drops. Which is also like a pretty aggressive start on their end. But I'm not particularly complaining. We can get back some of that tempo loss with the Urius in hand too. So here we're going to just go for the Zirconia. I think we'll unfortunately have to use the Prim to trade here. Just because I don't want to be losing out more face damage at this point. And this way we can still be like one body ahead. So that's still one of the good things of keeping the Prim around. There is a world where we could have kept the other Prim that we had ambushed up earlier. Okay, they commit the Noah, but that also means that they're going to use up the puppets that they had in hand just to answer this board. So let's see here. I think they should be able to still commit one more from this collection of puppets. Let's see if they do that. Because I'm assuming that this 4 damage is going to fly to face, if not even evolve and try to make this into 6 damage. Thus pushing me down to 8, which is pretty difficult. But luckily with Luminous Lance Trooper and Zirconia, we can answer this board. So that shouldn't be too much of an issue. So the Luminous Lance Trooper will make the 1/1 that will trade into this. And then Zirconia can evolve, trade into this. And then the remaining 2/2s can trade into this. So we do get a full board clear. And then we basically just need to sort of make it to turn 8. The only problem is that we are now in kill range from the Orcus, which is quite complicated if that does happen. So they've gotten a bit too much chip damage into me, and if I had to really pinpoint a turn where I think I might have made a mistake, it would actually be the attacking with the 1/1 Prim on turn 3. I think keeping that in ambush might have actually given us a bit more tempo gain. At least now they're force answer 2 of my followers, and they still do have a couple puppets in hand, I believe. But will they have to commit like 2 into this one then? Zwei comes down. Okay, Zwei is okay. I'm more worried about next turn, because this is kind of okay to take out. Ooh, Gildaria is kind of appreciated here. This gives us pretty easy clear. And it's a bit better than having to bank on Amelia kind of like finding something. And the worst case is that, like, even if Amelia finds me something that can make wards, we don't have enough play points to play it out. So I feel like Gildaria here. Oh, I don't really. But Gildaria, using this super evolving Gildaria here feels kind of whack. The problem is that we cannot then ensure that we can clear both these things. I think it is still best to just commit this and go for the super evo. A little bit complicated, but we do get 1 burn damage from this as well, I guess. So here just comes down to if they have the going second Orcus, because that would normally be 8 damage. So if they do, then all right, there's the Orcus. They will be able to burn for 1 and then 7 more damage, and they do have lethal here for game. Pretty unfortunate start. I feel like we literally had perfect curve. The only problem is that I think attacking with the 1/1 on turn 3 is what cost me the game. So it really, like, you'll have games like that where it's like it even looks like you've drawn perfectly, but it just doesn't really go your way. All right, we got our second game against J-Head. Let's see what they're bringing as well. It's funny how I just said that, you know, this deck should be favored into puppets, and then we got aggroed down by puppets successfully and died. That is the key, I guess. You just expect that things are gonna go south. All right, here's the other deck I mentioned, Abyss. Let's see, we're going first again. See if we can have a good opening and hopefully make it out here. So Luminous Lance Trooper is usually good to keep. Vals, especially if this is aggro, is going to be good to answer early boards. Generally speaking, Zirconia is usually fine just because it gives us a tempo swing even if it's turn 5. Yeah, I think it's okay. I really want to showcase this. Okay, Gildaria is also good tempo. So we're just kind of missing a turn 4 play at this point. So let's see what the deck gives us, and also what version of Abyss they're playing. Orthrus comes down. This makes Luminous Landstrip a little bit awkward here. So then we might as well just skip this turn, play Valse next turn to try to take out whatever they put down as threats, and then hopefully Landstripper can answer something down the line. All right, looks like it is indeed aggro. The Valse is going to help here. Let's take out the ward. I guess the Luminous Landstripper ×2 to make 2 1/1s to answer this 2/2 is also good. Ooh, but this 2/4. Definitely have to prioritize you of all things. Although she does only, you know, proc her additional effect when something super evolves, but keeping her on the board is going to get really tricky. And that also prevents this from going into the pool of reanimate targets, so I think I'm okay with that for the time being. So use both of those Landstrippers to take out the 2/2. Bone Mancer comes down. They're probably going to just evolve face here to punch 4 into the head. But I don't mind that too much. Ooh, they're going to go for the trade instead. Interesting. And they're going to... Ooh, okay. They're prioritizing trading above all else. I do like that. But this also... this makes the turn 5 a little bit awkward. So I think we forego the Zirconia here. We go for Luminous Magus to set up wards. Especially because they're starting to run low on resources a little bit. This way we can try to keep the 2/2s intact. Don't really want to go into the 3/3 here just because she will pop out 2 1/1s that will contribute to anything that cares about how much stuff there is on board here. Okay, and then... Ooh! Pass on turn 5? You don't really see those very often. I guess that means we can keep the Gildaria around. Use Zirconia to swing a huge tempo swing here to the face. And then let the 1/1s just kind of chill here in that case. This does feel very, very good. I mean, we're basically getting 10 damage into the dome. That's a pretty good swing. This also means that next turn we have Olivia potentially lined up for some healing if we need to. And, I mean, 3 wards also present because the Luminous Magus remain on board. So... could also even Gildaria next turn, but because we have to super evolve, I'd rather go for the Olivia. All right, here comes Karon. Just gonna reanimate the 2, give them ward, which is of course very powerful, and then the super evolve can give the countdown crest. Doesn't go for it. Interesting. I mean, we have lethal here, right? It's like we just need to clear the 2 wards, and we're basically done. So this looks like a done deal in my eyes. We basically just go for the super evolve, Olivia, and then this will just give us the trade, swing into this, and then essentially just go face. All right, that was very much a smooth game and also very, very fast. I'm not playing an aggro deck by any means, but I'm surprised why they didn't go for the... because didn't they had a reanimate 3 target as well, so I'm a little bit surprised why they didn't go for the super evolve there, because they definitely could have taken out the majority of the board there. Or if not the majority, at least like the Luminous Magus. I mean, either that or like, I guess not Luminous Magus, but at least one of the wards would have been able to be taken out. So bit of an odd game, but we do take those. All right, it's fine. Time for the last round 3. And we're going up against Kanade. So I had a weekend lobby tournament where I played against the same person twice. Looks like that's not going to happen this time though. So looking forward to how this game's going to pace out. Oh, well, looks like we got a free win. All right, so tournament mode didn't really go too hot. We lost that first game, and that second game was a game of all time. And then the third game didn't happen. So I decided to record a little bit more. As you can see, I dropped down to Ruby because my tournament mode ended at 1:30 AM yesterday. And, ooh, Sword Mirror going first, Gildaria in the opening hand. I feel like Gildaria is a keep, just because that gets us to answer the opponent's board pretty easily. And then Rose, we might have to play turn 3. We might be able to keep her for turn 5. If we can keep her for turn 5, that's much better because she gives us a 0-cost follower we're gonna have to hand to then play with the Gildaria. But we shall see. Will they open the prim early? That's pretty good on their part. All right. What is this heavy hand, dude? Just play the Fildau. But yeah, so I dropped down Ruby because I ended the tournament mode at 1:30 AM yesterday, and then I wanted to finish my battle pass points. And the only way to finish my battle pass points was to play a fast deck, so I played Aggro Abyss. And unfortunately, Aggro Abyss everyone's trying to beat right now. And therefore I lost a lot of my games, but they were fast at least. They were fast games, but I lost a lot of them. And therefore, dropped down to Ruby. And, ooh, picked up the Prim at the perfect time. That's really good. All right. At least this like counters their Zirconia. So that's good, I guess. But we don't really have a good play this turn ourselves. Okay, the dogs take it out. That's fine. They're just going phase, huh? I mean, I basically might just have to Albert here and trade off of that. Oof, Albert to trade with sounds so bad, but in the mirror, it's quite important to be able to answer boards of each other. Especially considering that we still have 2 more Alberts in the deck that we can draw into, and Amelia is in our hand to give us that kind of like confidence in being able to draw. So here, there's a very conservative play, but leaving the Luminous Lancer is also very, very dangerous. So here they commit their own, yeah, they're committing Albert, but they're committing it to go face. So that's their priority this game. Whereas for me, it's like, oh my god, it's just actually just Storm, isn't it? It's just Storm, isn't it? I see. I think we still go Daria because it gives us a wide board and basically board clear. Interesting. Dude, this is so sad. I think we prioritize the wide board because it doesn't take out the board anyway. So the Gildaria goes down to 1, but if they have, so they probably have the Spartan. What's his name again? The 8-drop 7 damage face is what they're probably holding on to right now, which obviously is not happy news for me. If they have a Gildaria in this hand, my board does get cooked, which is the unfortunate part. But based on how they've been playing, I'm willing to bet they don't have it. Well, let's see. Odin. You're just going face with Odin. Oh my god, he's going face with Odin. Do I have lethal here? 5, 7, 10 plus. Yeah, we have lethal here. Bro, you gotta calm down. Calm down. Not everything is about freaking going face, bro. This is what I mean. You can't be just ignoring the board, dude. This isn't aggro abyss. You gotta play properly. I mean, it's all proper, but I mean, come on, man. All right, well, we got to show Gildaria's strength, I guess. Okay, another mirror. Like I said, this deck is really popular. That's why I kind of want to play a second Urias. I feel like when the game goes long, Urias is just like, he's the GOAT. I've been feeling like Fildau is more and more of a questionable card lately. Oh, this is a pretty good early opening hand. The Vals might be good too, but especially the Prim on turn 3 is going to be very nice. For the mirror, I kind of want to keep Urias, honestly. It sounds kind of cope, but it's really not that bad. This for turn 3, this for turn 4. Kind of want something for turn 5 and earlier. Hey, there's our turn 5 play. That's not too bad. We'll see how aggressive they start as well. Like, they didn't quick blader me, so that's good, I guess. That means we can also just kind of pass here. Optimally, I'd like to also pass on turn 2 as well. So we'll see what they put down. If it's just like, okay, Luminous Line Stripper is a little bit annoying, but it's not the end of the world. Ooh, Gildaria as well. See, with Gildaria, the thing is that we could theoretically, but it feels kind of sus. The thing is that I'm thinking like to hold the bonus play point for Gildaria this game, because it's really good in the mirror match. And that way we can do Zirconia into Gildaria, which is also quite good. But that would mean we do like the Prim here that doesn't do anything, and then Rose to answer one of these, which doesn't feel really good either. So if we're gonna cash in the extra play point, I feel like it's okay to just pass here, and then we just Prim next turn, and that way we have the buffed Prim from Zirconia to answer this board instead. So it's a bit of a risky play. If they put down something really scary here this turn, then maybe Rose to clear it is an option. But let's see what they actually commit here, because for now we're just taking 2 damage. It's not the end of the world. And then the thing is that because we have the Luminous Magus, we have a turn 5 play even if we don't play point boost with Gildaria. Okay, they go for their own, but we kind of have the upper edge here, because that means that they probably want to play that next turn. And yeah, if they do play that next turn, my Zirconia is like in a bit of trouble, but depends on what sticks here, basically. Depends on what sticks. So If they now play their own Nonya and then trade... Ooh, Saria. That's quite strong, actually. So they're going to Saria Nonya and then probably trade in 2 things into my ward. Because if they don't, then I obviously can just trade, you know, Bane for Bane. Or they could trade Bane for Bane because they have the Luminous Lance Stripper and that gives this rush. True, that is an option they can do. I mean, let's see. I'm curious. It's not a value trade for them to run these 2 into this, but it does prevent my Zirconia from just, you know, bashing in. It looks like that is going to be the case. I'm not really complaining about that, to be honest. It's not the worst. We could also just like Rose here kind of sucks. I think if we're gonna commit something, we might as well just do Zirconia, like just accept that she's gonna die. And then next turn we can Rose or do Luminous. It's not great. It's really not great, but we get more out of our Gildaria that way as well. So that also feels pretty good. The most important thing is with Urius, you really want to put him down on a turn where, you know, your opponent doesn't really have too much on the board. Okay, they're playing the Rose first as well. Probably going to just try to run her in. Okay, no, they're actually going to use the 0 play point Samurai here. And then this can go face. This could be 5 damage if they choose to proc the Evolve, which puts me down to 12, which puts me down to Albert's kill range, which means that then we need to commit the play point boost to potentially go into Urius early to start healing stuff down, because otherwise we're going to be in a bit of a disadvantage here. So the Evolve this is probably going to go face. This is probably going to trade, I would imagine. Otherwise, I'll do the trading myself. Oh, okay. That's kind of interesting. I don't really mind that, personally speaking. There is a world also where I feel like the Rose to trade this is fine. And then it's like, the question is, do we need to keep for Gildaria? Because there's a chance that they Gildaria me. If I put down Luminous Magus here, I imagine they're going to just Gildaria. And that's going to clear the Luminous Magus. So Rose here feels a bit safer. Oh, we're just going to do the same thing, aren't we? Yeah. I feel like it's okay. It's not great. It's really not great. But it answers the board, and this way we're at 13, so we're not in like the range of dying to Gildaria. We preserved the evolution point, which is also good. Yeah, this feels like just prioritizing the board clear is better. So let's just go for that. Again, that's what we learned from the last time we played the Sword Mirror. So let's just do it and see what this brings. We do have Odin for later down the line as well, if we need to, like... Thing is, Odin is not as good in the mirror. I'm really thinking about taking him out in general. He's a good card for when you don't finish games off of Albert's, just because he's another storm source. But it feels like in other instances, it's kind of just like, it's okay. Ooh, Gildaria here is really good. This gets me a full clear and keeps the Gildaria at 6/6 full health, which is very nice. That means that next turn we get to play Urius after they exhaust their resources trying to clear this. So we can actually super evolve the Urius potentially, just to get some good sustain down. So let's see. Usually the first person that gets to play Urius is quite far ahead, but obviously being able to combine Urius into Albert is really good, because that will then prevent their Albert from doing stuff. Oh, they committed their Odin early. That's actually quite good for us. That's really good. Them committing Odin early is huge. Absolutely massive. Them committing the Evolve here means we go down to 7, but we're healing from the Urius, so we go up to 9, so we're not dying too early. Yeah, there's definitely Urius Super Evo. We need to have another Odin for this to matter, let's say. Well, let's commit the Super Evo on this. And then now we give them this big sort of floodgate that they have to worry about. And we've pushed them down to 13, which means that if they summon anything without destroying Urius, they go down to 12, which means they're in Mr. Albert's lethal range. So we also have a lot of board clear in this hand. So Odin, of course, is an option, but also like Val Signomina Samurai is also another option. I'm getting excited. I'm still having my morning coffee. This will wake up anyone. Yuri is definitely showing his worth in this game, so I'm happy to see that. That's the GOAT right there. But let's see. I think this is also the awkward point where it's like, if they play a Urius, then he doesn't really do too much. And the problem is that my Samurai would not be able to clear Urius, but we have Odin, so he gets just banish the Urius in response. So that's why I feel like the Odin that's like the one good purpose of Odin, is that he's better than like the 4-cost destruction spell, because he actually comes with a body and storm while being pinpoint removal. The banish doesn't matter as much against Sword because they don't have like, you know, they don't revive things, and there's not really any crazy last words effects that you are preventing with that. All right, they're thinking about it. They're really they're making use of this timer. Gildaria comes down. It will get frozen though, and we will also heal one. And then anything that comes out of this Gildaria. Okay, so they're prioritizing taking out my 2/2s. Okay. All right. Ooh, well, would you look at that? We get to just go face, and then, I mean, it's either Albert or Odin, but Odin will do the job. This is pretty good. Again, just goes to show that, like, keeping the Urius and the Mulligan in the mirror is so game swingy. Like, that's why if you play a lot of the Sword Mirror, play a second Urius. He's so damn good. It's actually kind of insane. All right, let's go for one more and see how we do. It's going to be against Rune, most likely Earthright. It feels like that's been what's trending the most. I've been playing quite a bit of Earthright myself as well. But if it's Earthright, Urius is pretty good. If it's Spell Boost, then... Actually, no, Urius is kind of mid in this matchup in general, just because the problem is that they have a lot of pinpoint removal. So Prim, I think, is good for the turn 4 or turn 2 and 3 kind of play. Luminous Magus, I feel like we don't really need to prioritize in the mulligan as much. So I think we can put this back. Okay, we have Prim for turn 2, 3, and 4. That's excellent. And then turn 5, we have Zirconia. Perfect. We actually have a nice little curve going. Ooh, 4-sided Spell Boost. Okay. Even Spell Boost has gotten better in this expansion because of the fact that they now have access to, you know, some of the Earthright cards that are really, really good. Okay, this Nonya will tank the hit from this for a little bit. Ooh, we have a turn 5 Rosé potentially as well. Let's see, is this worth to swing with? Next turn we get to put Prim and Nonya down again. Not giving them a target feels kind of good in my opinion, so I feel like it's okay not to swing with this. Because then they have to commit like AoE, which they cannot really do right now, so that's also okay. Sagelight Teachings, just to make... Ooh! Oh, they're trying to go for AoE, aren't they? In that case, we swing. They're trying to AoE, huh? But in case they... I think Prim Nonya is still a good play in case they don't have it. We don't have anything tall enough that we can put down early that'll survive the 4 damage AoE anyway, so I think we still try to put this down. If this board sticks, then Zirconia just literally swings at the game so hard it's ridiculous. Let's see. Ooh. Bergeon. Burgent. I love this guy's voice line. I want to hear it again. It's like, Tanoshi, Tanoshi, something like that. Funny guy. Funny little onion patch man. Yeah, this looks like just a Zirconia. 2 damage to face. Let's see how you can answer this kind of play. Down to 14. It's pretty good. So we're slowly. Tanoshi! Yeah, that's just... I love the line. Mr. Onion Patch. This card's so good. I actually filmed a, like, early evaluation of all the cards, but I just don't have any time to edit it, so I scrapped the video. But I do rate this card quite highly. I feel like some like, rune mains were saying that, oh, but it clashes with the timing for Anangrea, right? Which does, but I feel like it provides a different kind of value from Anangrea. Ooh, they're summoning out the Shikigami quite early and for 3 play points as well. So I wonder what... Ooh, evolving just to trade. Okay, they must be really in a pinch here. I don't mind. This also means that... Okay, Stormy Blast probably onto this. So we have 4 damage on the board here. This could be an Albert Evo face because we get 9 damage in that way, and then next time we just win off an Albert if they don't have anything else to do. So let's try to go for that. Question is if we want to go wide or tall, because putting this to 4 still dies to AoE, so I think we'd rather go tall. So if they have pinpoint removal, then we have pinpoint removal kind of thing, but this might be able to like evade a whatchamacallit. What's his face again? William. Tanoshi. Norman. Alright, Mr. Norman. He's gonna be healing 4 probably twice. And then Super Evolve swing into the Albert most likely. Does he go for the heal 4 twice? Yeah, he does, he does. which is actually fine. And he also clears only one thing here, which means that we can Olivia. So Olivia's so good, it's kind of insane. So we've drawn all 3 of our samurais, which is also pretty ridiculous. So I think here it's pretty safe to just go for the Olivia. See if we pop any other 2-drops from this. Find Amelia and Zirconia, but I think here it's okay to just kind of like go for this. And then we don't get the ping off of the Olivia here, but we put on more of a board pressure. And this gets them down to 6, which means that I can just Super Evo Albert next turn and then we win off of that too. So we're kind of just forcing them to keep healing, and we're the ones giving the pressure. That's kind of how you want to play this deck, is you want to be the one applying the pressure so that your opponent has to waste their resources and their evolution points, most importantly, to answer your plays. So because of the addition of Gildaria, you now have a card that cheats out evolution. So you can technically be more aggressive with your evolution points in this format compared to the last format. And that actually will sort of be rewarded in a sense. Oh, are they going to go for double heal 4 again? They are. Wow, okay. That's interesting. I mean, I think we still... This is what? 6? No, we don't have enough. In that case, I want to be a bit more conservative, I guess. Is it worth being conservative, though? Let's think. Samurai, Rose, Amalia. I guess Samurai and Rose is also fine for this turn. And then we just save the Super Evo for later. Because then we still have another Samurai for next turn as well, which is very strong. Let's see where Rose finds us first. We still have Prim. That's nice. But yeah, this will just be Samurai to face. I mean, Samurai to trade. Then this to face. Can actually commit the Prim because she has... She's 0 cost, so if this sticks, then I mean we have an extra source of damage basically, or another source of being able to trade if necessary. Stormy Blast, okay. I'm a little bit worried about Dimension Climb here, but there's still an 8 play points, which means that they also shouldn't have. Yeah, they're gonna go 4 play point Dimension Climb. Okay, they're only on 8, which means that they don't have like 10 cost Kuon. They don't have access to Kokaitis, so it's gonna be just regular old Kuon, and that's quite all right. Okay, and that's gonna be just a big trade coming in. That's also fine. Ooh, okay, they got the full clear. Congratulations, happy birthday. Well done, well done. This feels like it's just an Amalia turn then, right? It's like Super Evo clear this, and then this gets traded off by a 3-2. Doesn't really feel worth to do Albert, right? I think. Or, I guess there's a world where, I'm just thinking. I don't want to cash in my last Samurai yet either. I feel like the Samurai is going to be more important for when we have to clear out the bigger threats. Yeah, this feels like Amelia, if we had Luminous, not Lancer, Magus. That would be a bit more effective, but here I think Amalia is okay. Technically, we can even clear this without committing the Super Evo, and then see what sticks. We have 1 ward as well and 19 defense, so they've already been using a lot of their healing, and they've used up all their evolution points, so we don't have to worry about... The only thing we have to worry about is the extra play point, Kokaitis, and Dimension Climb. I keep remembering the Japanese names, because Dimension Climb is over Dimension in Japanese, which sounds way cooler in my opinion. Okay, well, good thing we didn't commit the Evo there. Vals. But we have game. We just have game up Albert here. Just go for Evolve, and then 12 damage face. Yeah, it's like, a lot of their names are different, so... Because I watch mostly Japanese YouTubers, and that's how I get a lot of the, like, knowledge for the game. So the Japanese names for the cards just kind of like naturally enter my brain at times. All right, so that has been my rendition of Midrange Sword. I hope you guys enjoyed this look at the deck. I do think the list will change, and you should also change it depending on the meta. I think Fildao is a card that, like, there are times when it feels good, but times when it feels like it's just you're committing your evolve points to other things already, so you don't really have the time to be playing Fildao. So you might as well just add an extra copy of Urius, maybe add an extra copy of Amalia, and then that way you have a more consistent list. And then you could also even, you know, potentially cut the Odin for an extra copy of Rosé, but to me, Rosé feels like she's really good when you're ahead, but she doesn't feel as good when you're behind, whereas Odin feels like it can just like steal your game sometimes. So I like the one copy of Odin in situations like that. So let me know what you guys think of this list, and also what you think of Midrange Sword in this format in general. Do you think Gildaria truly saved this deck? Just like, I mean, I personally feel like this card is absolutely cracked, and definitely is one of the big MVPs, but so is Urias. I really feel like playing a second Urias would be very good. So one of the first things I'll probably do is cut the Fildaus and put in an extra copy of Amali and Urias, most likely. It does lower your low drops. You could also cut Fildau for the 1/2 that on last words resummons itself, which I think is another interesting option. But Urias, I do feel like if you see a lot of sword, could be worth to play a second copy. With that though, that's gonna be it for me today. If you guys enjoyed this video, give it a like, and if you haven't already, please do subscribe. But otherwise, I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.